Human rights are the basic rights and freedoms that belong to every human being. These rights are universal, which means every person deserves them regardless of race, religion, gender, nationality, language, or social background. Human rights are important because they protect people from unfair treatment, discrimination, violence, and abuse. They also allow people to live with dignity, equality, freedom, and safety. Without human rights, society would become unfair and unstable because people would not be protected by laws and justice. Examples of human rights include the right to life, the right to education, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, equality before the law, freedom of movement, and the right to work and live safely. Human rights are not only about freedom, but also about responsibility. People should respect the rights of others while enjoying their own rights. In Malaysia, human rights are mainly protected under the Federal Constitution, which is the highest law of the country. The Constitution explains the rights and responsibilities of citizens and the government. Part 2 of the Constitution focuses on fundamental liberties. Articles 5 to 13 guarantee important rights such as the right to life and personal liberty, protection against slavery and forced labor, equality before the law, freedom of movement, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, rights to education, and property rights. For example, Article 5 protects a person's right to life and liberty. Article 8 states that all people are equal before the law and should not face unfair discrimination. Article 10 gives citizens freedom of speech, assembly, and association. Article 11 allows freedom of religion, while Article 12 protects educational rights. These constitutional rights help ensure that Malaysians are protected under the law. However, Malaysia also balances human rights with local culture, religion, and national harmony. Malaysia is a multicultural country made up of Malays, Chinese, Indians, indigenous groups, and many others. Because of this diversity, maintaining peace and unity is considered extremely important. Certain rights may have limitations if they are believed to threaten national security, racial harmony, or religious sensitivity. This approach reflects Malaysia's effort to balance universal human rights values with local traditions and constitutional identity. One major influence on global human rights is the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, or UDHR. The UDHR was introduced by the United Nations in 1948 after World War II. It was created to protect people from injustice and abuse after the suffering experienced during the war. The UDHR promotes universal principles such as equality, liberty, justice, and dignity for all human beings. It contains 30 articles that explain important rights and freedoms, including freedom of speech, freedom from torture, the right to education, and the right to participate in society. Malaysia supports many principles found in the UDHR, but the implementation of these rights may differ due to cultural, religious, and political factors. For example, freedom of speech exists in Malaysia, but speech that could cause racial hatred, religious conflict, or threaten national stability may be restricted under Malaysian law. This shows the difference between universal human rights ideals and the practical realities of governing a multicultural society. In the modern era, human rights face many new challenges because of technology, globalization, and social change. The internet and social media platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X have made communication faster and easier than ever before. People can now spread awareness about social issues, share opinions, and connect globally within seconds. Social media has helped many human rights campaigns gain attention and support from people around the world. However, technology also creates serious challenges. Fake news and misinformation can spread very quickly online, causing confusion and conflict. Online hate speech can increase racial or religious tension. Cyberbullying affects mental health, especially among teenagers and young adults. Privacy is another important issue because personal information can be leaked or misused without consent. Governments and organizations also face debates about surveillance, security, and digital freedom. Another challenge in Malaysia is ensuring equality and fairness for vulnerable groups in society. Women's rights remain an important issue, especially in cases involving domestic violence, workplace discrimination, and gender inequality. Organizations continue to advocate for better protection and equal opportunities for women. Refugees and migrant workers also face difficulties such as limited legal protection, poor working conditions, and lack of access to education or healthcare. Human trafficking is another serious human rights issue. Victims are often forced into labor or exploitation through illegal activities. Malaysia has worked with international organizations and local NGOs to combat trafficking, but challenges still remain. In addition, deaths in police custody and concerns about abuse of power continue to raise public debates about justice and accountability. Freedom of speech is also frequently discussed in Malaysia. While citizens are allowed to express opinions, there are laws that restrict speech considered harmful to national harmony or security. Some people believe these laws are necessary to maintain peace, while others believe greater freedom of expression is needed in a democratic society. This creates ongoing discussions about how to balance security and liberty. An important institution that helps protect human rights in Malaysia is Suhakam, which stands for the Human Rights Commission of Malaysia. Suhakam was established in 1999 by the Malaysian government. Its main role is to promote awareness and understanding of human rights. Suhakam investigates complaints related to human rights violations, monitors detention centers, advises the government, and publishes reports about human rights conditions in Malaysia. Suhakam also organizes educational programs, public discussions, and campaigns to encourage respect for human rights. Although Suhakam plays an important role, some people believe it should be given stronger authority and greater independence to improve its effectiveness. Besides Suhakam, non-governmental organizations, or NGOs, are also very important in protecting human rights. NGOs work independently from the government and often focus on helping vulnerable communities. Organizations such as Hakam, Swaram, WAO, Suka Society, and Proam actively support human rights through advocacy, education, legal assistance, and welfare programs. For example, the Women's Aid Organization, or WAO, helps women facing domestic violence and abuse. Swaram focuses on civil liberties, democracy, and justice issues. Suka Society supports refugees, children, and marginalized groups. These NGOs help raise awareness, support victims, and encourage reforms in society. Education is one of the most important ways to improve human rights awareness. When people understand their rights and responsibilities, they are more likely to respect others and contribute positively to society. Schools, universities, media, and community organizations all play a role in promoting understanding about equality, justice, tolerance, and respect. To strengthen human rights in Malaysia, several solutions can be implemented. First, laws and policies can be improved to ensure fairness and protection for everyone. Second, enforcement of laws should be transparent and accountable to prevent abuse of power. Third, education and awareness programs should be expanded to teach people the importance of human rights from a young age. In addition, cooperation between the government, NGOs, Suhakam, and the public is essential. Open dialogue and discussion can help solve conflicts peacefully and encourage mutual understanding between different communities. Technology and social media should also be used responsibly to spread positive information instead of hate or misinformation. In conclusion, human rights are essential for justice, equality, dignity, and national harmony. Malaysia continues to balance universal human rights principles with local culture, religion, and constitutional values. Although challenges still exist, progress can be achieved through education, cooperation, stronger institutions, and mutual respect. By working together, Malaysians can continue building a society that is fair, peaceful, inclusive, and united for future generations.